Welcome, seekers. Today's story is about a racist cop who picked the wrong person to mess with. OP was just minding their own business, driving home after a long day, when suddenly they got pulled over for no reason. Things went from bad to worse when the cops started making wild accusations and treating OP like a criminal. But let's just say, this cop wasn't as untouchable as he thought. Stick around to find out how it all went down. Okay, I never thought I'd be one of those people with a crazy police encounter, but here we are. I always thought that if you just followed the rules, kept your head down, and did nothing wrong, you'd be fine. Oh, how naive I was. Because let me tell you, some people don't need a reason to make your life hell. I, 28, male, live in a pretty normal suburban area. I work a regular job, pay my taxes, and generally try to mind my own business. But one night, I learned the hard way that sometimes that doesn't matter. The night everything went wrong. So it all started when I was driving home late from work. It was around 11 p.m. and I was dead tired. You know that feeling when your whole body just wants to collapse? That was me. But I still had about 20 minutes left before I got home. I wasn't speeding, wasn't swerving, wasn't doing anything suspicious. Just cruising along, listening to some music, thinking about how much I wanted to pass out in bed. And that's when I saw it, flashing red and blue lights. At first, I thought, oh, maybe there's an accident up ahead. But then I realized they were pulling me over. I was confused as hell, but I pulled over like a normal, law-abiding citizen because I knew I didn't do anything wrong. My registration was up to date, my taillights were fine, and I wasn't even going over the speed limit. And that's when he walked up to my window. This cop, I'll call him Officer R, looked like he was straight out of a bad movie. Buzz cut, sunglasses at night, and that classic smug, I own you attitude. License and registration, he barked. I nodded, keeping my hands visible the whole time because, let's be honest, I know how these things go. I didn't want to give him any excuse to escalate. But even after handing over my info, he just stood there, staring at me. Then he smirked. Where you heading this late at night? Excuse me? Since when do I need to justify driving home from work? But I stayed calm. Just heading home, sir. He let out this little chuckle, like he already knew I was guilty of something. You been drinking tonight? No, sir. Mind stepping out of the vehicle? At this point, my stomach dropped because I knew where this was going. The humiliation begins. Now, here's the thing. I could have refused. I knew my rights, but I also knew that refusing would only make things worse. So I got out, and the second I did, he started circling me like a damn shark. Turn around, hands on the hood. I did. And before I could even process what was happening, he started searching me on the side of the road, in the cold, while people were driving by. And for what? Because I existed? The worst part? The whole time, he kept making these little comments. Where'd you get this car? You got anything on you I should know about? You sure you're not hiding anything? Like he had already decided I was guilty of something. Finally, after patting me down, he moved on to my car, and that's when he really started digging. He opened my glove compartment, my center console, even made me pop my trunk, and I kept asking, "What exactly are you looking for?" But he just kept repeating, "Just routine. Routine, my butt." Because guess what? After tearing through my entire car, he found nothing. But did he let me go? Oh no, that would have been too easy. The fake charges. Instead, he told me I was acting suspicious, that I wasn't being cooperative enough. And that was enough for him to detain me. So there I was, handcuffed, sitting on the curb, watching as this guy acted like he just caught a dangerous criminal when really he had nothing. And you know what the absolute worst part was? He called for backup, like I was some kind of threat. Now, at this point, I was just praying someone with half a brain would show up and end this madness. And after about 20 minutes, another officer arrived. And thank God, this one actually had some common sense. Because the second he started asking questions, things started to unravel for Officer R. New cop. What's the charge? Officer R. Suspicious behavior. New cop. Did you find anything illegal? Officer R. No. New cop. Did he resist? Officer R. Not exactly, but he was acting off. Acting off? Even the new cop looked like he wanted to facepalm. And that's when I finally spoke up. Can I go now? New cop looked at me, then back at Officer R, then sighed. Yeah, you're free to go. And just like that, Officer R's little power trip came crashing down. But he didn't apologize, didn't even look at me, just grumbled something under his breath and walked off. The aftermath. Now, here's where things get good, because I wasn't about to let this go. The second I got home, I wrote everything down, every detail, every word he said, because I knew I was filing a complaint. And when I did, turns out Officer R already had a history of this kind of behavior. Complaints, investigations. The dude was a walking lawsuit. And guess what? A few weeks later, I found out he got suspended. Now, I don't know if he got fired, but honestly, I don't care. Because at least for a while, he wasn't out there harassing people for no reason. Final thoughts. So, yeah, that was the night I got harassed for driving while existing. And the lesson? Know your rights. because people like Officer R, they rely on you not knowing them. And if something like this happens to you, document everything, because sometimes the only way to win is to fight back. Well, seekers, what do you think? What would you do in such a situation? Please subscribe and leave us a like and a comment if you loved our story today.